It's my first speech, so if I'm a bit off, then you know why. But first of all, I want to say congratulations to everybody that won the awards. And if you didn't win any awards, don't worry, your time will come soon. I didn't win any awards in high school either. This is an honor, to be here back in my high school, but I'm on the other side now, so it's an honor. First of all, I'll just explain a little bit about myself. So my name is Ibbytarafdar, and I'm a freelance graphic designer. And 9 years ago, I was sitting where you guys are sitting right now. Before I get into the main talk, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about myself, like my background. So I'm from a middle-class family. My mom's a housewife, and my dad's owns a bookstore. So just like you guys, like a lot of people, they see someone on stage and they think, oh, that person had a platform. But I'm just like you guys. I just come from a normal background. I think it's important to tell you this. I remember when I passed my GCSEs, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I know I was good at art, but apart from that, I was like, what do I do? And I had all this pressure on me. You have your parents, you have your teachers, you have the world just telling you, you have to make a move, you have to do something. And at that time, all this pressure, it was just getting to me. And that's why this opportunity matters a lot to me, because you guys got someone that's been through what you guys are going through, and he's giving you like my story and what I've learned. I want to tell everybody in here that they all got genius level talent within them. So everybody in this room is a genius. They just need to figure out what their genius is and dedicate themselves. That's what it's about. So how'd you find that genius? That's the question, right? How'd you find it? You got to be open. Don't be restricted. Like some people will tell you, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. But that's restricting yourself. Listen to what's inside you. Listen to your heart, because that's going to tell you, you know what, I really like doing this subject and I really hate doing this subject. So you've got to follow your heart. Use the internet. Read books. That's one thing that I do a lot of. I read a lot of books. But when I was in high school, I really didn't care about books, you know what I'm saying? So since I left school, I was reading all these books. I was upping my knowledge, and then next thing you know, I had the answers to a lot of questions that I had. Use your teachers as well, because that's one thing. Once you leave school, those teachers are gone. You can't, like I'm back here, and I get to say thank you to a lot of the teachers, but like once they're gone, you can't get that knowledge again. So make sure you ask your teachers these questions, tell them what you're really feeling, be honest with them, because these teachers, they're here to help you. And again, don't be scared to fail. I failed my A-levels 2 times. Miss Harrington, she tried to push me. She knew that I had something, but I was just too distracted, I had so much stuff going on. I really didn't focus, but she could see some potential in me. So I failed my A-levels 2 times. Then I went and did a BTEC in graphic design. I went to the careers advisor, and she told me, oh, you can design toys, you can do packaging, you can do editorial, you can work in fashion. I was like, whoa, man, people get paid for that? That's crazy. So I went and did graphic design in university, and I was just a natural at it. I just wanted to pursue it all the way till the end. I wanted to show my parents as well that I can graduate, like I'm not this failure, I can do it. And a lot of people will tell you, university, college, that's hard, but it's only as hard as you make it. As long as you're open, you'll be okay, So it's crazy because I've been doing design for like 10 years, and when I see people from my high school, I was sitting with them guys back there, and when they see me, they're like, yo, Ib, are you still doing art? And I'm like, yeah, something like that. And they're like, geez, I remember when you were in high school, you were really good at art. And it's crazy because they've got that little bit of doubt in them. They're like, yo, I wish I pursued what I enjoyed, but they kind of like look up to me in a way, all those cool people that I went to school with, they were like much cooler than me. They're coming up to me. They're like, yo, we want to be like you, it's crazy. So I've had the blessing to have worked with a lot of people, so I work with a few local businesses. So sometimes I'll be walking through town and I'll be like, I designed that restaurant there. The other day, somebody gave me like a flyer that I made, it's crazy. And my dream is much bigger than this, because that's just little local projects, I'm thinking on an international scale. I'm going to talk about role models because I feel like that's really important, especially in this social media age. A lot of people, they're on Instagram, you know, they see success as this quick thing, you know, but success is not quick, you know, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. You got to dedicate yourself, you know. A lot of people see this stuff on Instagram and they're like, yo, I'm going to be like that tomorrow. And if they don't get it, they kind of beat themselves up, but it's not like that. It's a long road. You got to be dedicated. When I was your age, I used to look up to a lot of musicians and a lot of athletes. It's crazy because I met most of them. I'm even working with some of them. That's crazy, right? Like, role models is important because at your age, you might think to yourself, I will never reach that guy. But you know what? Nothing is impossible. I managed to have all these role models in my contact list. That's crazy, right? That's like unbelievable, yeah? So, but you got to dream big. You can make it happen. So I'm going to give you guys like five of my keys to success. So if you guys want to like take out your phone or write them down, you know, because these tips are really going to help you. You know, if you just write them down, stick them on your wall in your house, and you read them like every day or whenever you feel uninspired, it will boost you back up. So the first one is believe in yourself, you know. When I was in school, I always believed in myself. I knew I had something, you know, and a lot of people, they might look at you and be like, yo, what's wrong with this guy, you know? Like, he's crazy, he feels like he can do anything. But you gotta think like that, because that's how you achieve greatness. And what you realize, once you start believing in yourself, other people around you, they start believing in you. They're like, yo, you know what? This guy's actually doing what he's saying he's gonna be doing. And next thing you know, they become a believer as well. But at the same time, you have people that doubt you because they don't have that belief in themselves. So they try and put their insecurities on you because they didn't try and pursue what they wanted to do in life. So they're going to tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Don't listen to them. Follow what's in your heart. Number 2 is don't give up. I never give up. Like I said, I failed my A-levels 2 times. I couldn't give up. I never give up because, you know what? That's when it comes back to role models. All the role models I look up to, none of them give up. I'm always like, yo, these guys are never going to give up, so I'm never going to give up. Number 3 is keeping inspired, because, you know, a lot of people, they're not surrounded by inspiration. That's why they get down a little bit, you know. You got to look up to greatness if you want to be great, yeah? So books is another thing, you know. Someone had an award for reading books. Yeah, you guys get on that. Books is really important, you know, because books are like people's life in a book, man. Few pages, and then you get to read that person's whole life. So imagine how many lives you would have lived. So books is really important. My room is surrounded by books, and when I look around, I feel inspired. Number 4 is stay curious. So always ask questions. Never be afraid to ask questions. So don't be shy. Like, if you've got something on your brain, ask your teachers. Just express yourself. That's how you're going to get the answers. But if you stay silent, you're never going to get the answers. You're going to live all of life like that, not getting the answers. So always stay curious. That's how you stay young. Like, I'm 25 years old, right? So, but I always ask questions still. And the 5th one is kind of personal to me. My friend said, yo, you got to use this because you're really good at this. Is networking. Like I said, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of my role models and even work for some. By networking, simply by just going up to these people and just telling them, yo, this is what I do, I really appreciate your work. And when they come down from New York, when they come down from LA, when they come down from Miami, they message me. They're like, yo, we in town, you around? And it's crazy because it's all through networking. So if you really like, if you see a pair of shoes on someone or a jacket or something that you like, go up to them and tell them, yo, I like it, I like this jacket, I like your shoes, you know, they'll really appreciate it. Life's too short, you gotta express yourself. And yeah, I hope, like, you know, this is my first speech, and I kind of flowed, so I'm kind of proud of myself, you know, but you know, I hope I inspired you guys, and, you know, I equipped you with some sort of knowledge that will help push you guys or give you a better idea of what you guys want to do in your life. And hopefully one day, one of you guys will be up here doing a speech, and it is a surreal experience, like coming back here and doing a speech on this side. I hope, like, you know, it seems like everybody's awake. Like, I'm the last speaker here, right? And everybody's awake. Like, it's a nice feeling, honestly. But yeah, if anybody needs anything, like, you know, feel free to come up to me and ask me questions or wherever you need. Before I end, I want to end on a quote by one of my biggest role models, Sean Jay-Z Carter. Remind yourself, nobody built like you. You've designed yourself. Thank you.